All right, my beautiful people. It's the RGJ Conspiracy Brother here. I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight. Really wasn't planning on it, but hey, you know, I'll come up with these ideas and I figure I want to share it with my peeps. Anyway, so tonight we're actually going to be looking at going through some things together on Usain Bolt, the fastest man alive. We'll be talking about a few things tonight to kind of show you some symbolism. And hopefully, hopefully to help you get educated on some things that are going on behind the scenes. And so, at any rate, I'll go ahead and share my screen, get started. I don't like to waste a lot of time talking. Just look straight into what's going on here, and we'll take it from there. So, hopefully, everybody's having a good night. Hopefully, you are enjoying yourself. And I see here my screen is going to share properly. Yes, I think it is. All right. So as you may know, obviously Usain Bolt just won the Olympics or the 100-meter dash. And I found some things that were interesting. We had some things coded to this particular race and this date. Lane 6 was Usain Bolt. It was very interesting. Thanks so much for that, Glenn. That's one of the first things I'll pull up or mention is that in his races, he had 3 heats. Interesting, call it heat, but in 3 heats, he raced all 3 heats in the lane number 6. So you take 3 heats, 3 and 6, that's 6, 6, 6. So we're going to be talking about some symbolism and some numbers. So that's very interesting. Typically in races, obviously he's the headliner of the Olympics for the sprints, but for him to be in 666. I thought that was very interesting for his running to take place in lane number 6. Of course, he's a cocky person. He's at a point now. He is so much faster than everyone else. It's just a shame. But I found this article here where it talked about Usain Bolt after winning his gold medal. He paid homage to someone else. Now, of course, Usain Bolt. We'll talk about his name. He wears a little ring, which seems to be a little bit of a masonry ring. I'll show that to you guys when we get to looking at other screens. But he held Ibrahimovic, which was very interesting. So we'll talk about this, and we'll talk about the symbolism that I found here, and also his name, and we'll kind of go from there. So feel free to drop any of your thoughts in as we look at this. But I really wanted to do this as a teaching session, more so us going through it together. Because I don't claim to know everything, but I do notice some things. So Usain Bolt, once again, took Olympic men's 100-meter gold for his 3rd consecutive success in the event, cementing his legacy, and if needed, any further cementing as the greatest sprinter of all time. Whenever you hear the word greatest of all time, that typically has something to do, you don't get great as far as famous or fortune and fame without some help, without some sacrifice. So when you think about greatest of all time, the first person I can think of is Muhammad Ali. You can think of Michael Jordan. And if you think that they were able to rise to such stature by their talents alone, you'll be sadly mistaken. Of course, Muhammad Ali changed his name from Cassius Clay. CC equals 33. Michael Jordan, in case you don't know, in his after his third run, he seemed to be he might have had a sacrifice of his father before he got his other 3 titles. He ended with 6 titles. He wore the number 23. 2 3s is 3-3. So don't think that these people, in this world, move up to such status without the help of those who own and control everything. So when we heard greatest sprinter of all time, I thought that was interesting. I mean, obviously, most of us would say, yeah, he's great. He's probably the greatest. A lot of things behind him that are helping him to be, not only just from his talent alone, but giving him all the endorsements, pushing him up. Because believe me, if he wasn't playing ball, then they would destroy his character. The same way that we see people like Michael Jackson, Prince, Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle. I can go on and on about people whose legacy was destroyed once they stopped playing ball. In other words, they started to tell the truth, or they started to want to own and control their own life. So let's talk about Bolt. Bolt was quizzed by members of the world media after securing his 7th Olympic gold medal, and one question in particular drew an animated response. So a journalist from Sweden newspaper Aftonbladet, somebody else will probably say that better, asked Bolt about his beloved Manchester United, and in particular new arrival Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I thought it was an interesting name here because Zlatan, if you say it fast enough, it sounds like Satan. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic, if you were to remove the Ovich, sounds like Abraham. Zlatan Ibrahim. So it's very interesting, these names. Not that they, I know some names are given to people, just like in wrestling. Hulk Hogan, that name was given to him. Jeffrey the Body Ventura. A lot of these, sometimes these names are given to people, or they change their names. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic, I thought that was very interesting. That connected me to the word Satan, and it connected me to the word Abraham. I tell people all the time, if you want to start to understand some of this stuff, it's important that you read the Bible. Even if you don't believe the Bible, the people who run and own and control this world, this United States, they run their things by the Bible. Their playbook is the Bible. Now, of course, what they do is they manipulate the Bible and they try to create man-made prophecies, but nonetheless, they operate from the Bible. And so it's funny because most people just won't read the Bible, even people who are Christians. And if you don't read the Bible, then you won't understand prophecy, you won't understand revelation, you won't understand some of the things we may talk about tonight. For example, Bolt. His nickname is Lightning Bolt. Where did that come from? Yeah, we might say he's as fast as a lightning bolt, but the duality in it is that Satan was cast from heaven as in a lightning bolt. So if you don't, choose not to read the Bible, that's fine. I'm not telling you that you have to, but what I am letting you know is that the people who own and control this world, this society, they operate, their playbook is the Bible itself. So Bolt was wasted no time in sharing his admiration for the United States. Number nine, the number 9, in case you don't know what that is Satan's number. The number 9, who scored in his Premier League debut during the Red Devils. Look at that. So I've just connected just for you, just real quickly, Zlatan or Satan, the number 9, which is Satan's number, and Red Devils, which is the depiction of a red devil is Satan himself. I just find this very interesting going through the story, and I'm just pointing out some connections for you. It was 3-1 victory over Bournemouth yesterday. He has now got 2 goals in 2 games. That's a great thing. Look at this. Zlatan or Satan is the greatest. When you look at the back of your dollar bill, it says in God we trust. So my question to you tonight is, what God is it that this America trusts in? See, all my life when I grew up, I thought it was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Joseph. I thought it was Jesus Christ. That was my thought. I said, hey, this country has been founded on biblical principles, which is another reason why I'm telling you, if you want to start to understand this world, read the Bible. Even if you don't believe in Christ, one of the best books you can ever read. But I found out that this society was built on biblical principles. In other words, I started thinking about how bankruptcy it follows follows Jubilee. Your foreclosures follow Jubilee, or fall off your credit after 7 years, giving you a reprisal. That came from the Bible. A lot of things that originally were set up in this country came off of biblical principles. So so when I read it in God we trust, I always thought it was this God that's in the Bible. But now as I get older, I'm starting to understand that it's not that God. It is a God that's in the Bible, but it's not the God that I thought it was. It's actually the other God. It's the fallen angel that this country now, or the powers that be, they worship. So at any rate, so Zlatan, which I thought was connected to Satan. So, and then we see the sign here from Usain Bolt, his lightning bolt sign. And right here, we see the devil horns, which is very interesting. And then obviously him pointing to the sky. So if you don't, one of the things that you may not know is that some of these hyper athletes, they conjure up, I guess you can call them spirits, or they do rituals before they run or before they shoot. LeBron James does the same thing. And of course, he used to wear number 23, which is 2 3s, which is 3-3. He now wears 6. Bolt is wearing 6. He's running this lane 6. And if you watch LeBron James pregame, pregame ritual, it's a whole bunch of satanic ritual. Usain Bolt does the same thing, a lot of satanic rituals to conjure up, to get his spirit, to get his powers, so to speak. Now, there's some people that don't believe in spirits, but something for you to look at. But I will tell you that that's something that is mentioned again in the Bible. So whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. I'm just pointing it out for you to have something else to consider and think about as well. Now, another thing about this picture is the duality of yellow and gold. For some of you guys, you may remember the song Black and Yellow. Well, that song was a very symbolic song, and most people thought it meant one thing, but of course they operate, or the enemy or Satan, he operates in duality, where it may mean one thing to us, it means another thing to him and those who serve him. For example, if you throw up an okay sign right here, many of us think it's okay. Like that's what it means to us, right? And that's fine. But in the world of duality, what this means is a 666 sign. But see, many people don't understand or haven't learned about signs, symbols, and numbers. Again, this is the same thing. We think this is okay, or some of us may say, hey, he just hit a three-pointer. But of course, this is Usain Bolt, and this is a 666 sign. Same 666 that we just showed in the lane that he was running in, where he was able to win a 100 meter race. And then also, this is the one eye symbolism, which is the same eye that you see on the back of your dollar bill, the illuminated eye, which also comes from the Bible, because in the Bible it said that Satan would be darkened in his right eye. That's another thing that comes from the Bible. So again, I even preach this to Christians who just go to church and don't read the Bible. You'll never get to know your enemy. In this case, not just the enemy being Satan, but those who worship Satan. You will never get to understand their tricks and how they communicate if you don't begin to learn signs, symbols, and numbers. So anyway, that's the darkened eye, or the right eye, leaving one eye illuminated, able to see. This is the same symbolism that you get on the back of your dollar bill with the pyramid and the eye, which is illuminated, which is rising above. I teach about money to kids, and I always wonder, well, how am I supposed to talk to kids about this stuff? If I wanted to go through and talk about all the symbolism on the dollar bill, it can be very, very creepy. So I haven't done it yet, but I just found that it was that's what that symbol means. So another thing that comes from this story, and I got some help from some people, so I'm going to make sure that I talk about that. But Bolt, let's go to our numerology and pull this up. And I always do simple gematria, which is English reduction. And Bolt in English reduction is number 13. So the unlucky number 13, if you watch any of my previous videos, we've talked about this number quite often. Also, we've mentioned red devil. So even though red devils we saw was connected to Satan, if we put that in, red devils is 44. Again, that's the occult of Obama, the occult of 44. We've seen this encoding all across the past few years with Obama in office. This number 44. Red devils is Satan. 44 is connecting to devils. In this case, we can talk about blue devils, red devils, whichever one. Obviously, for many of us, if you're African American, you would probably say that the police are blue devils, right? The Blue Lives Matter have been shooting black lives, where you have the authorities killing civilians. That's been the coding that's happened over this Obama reign, and it's coded into the number 44. Also, the number 9, which I mentioned was Satan's number. The number 9 was the number of Slaton's or Satan. His number that he wears for the Manchester United is number 9. Now, I didn't look up Manchester United. Let me look up that real quick and see if there's anything there with Manchester. But again, you guys, I'm just trying to do this to to help everyone, really, for those that are interested in this kind of stuff. If this interests you, if you got any questions, I don't have all the answers. There may be some that are here tonight that have even more answers than I do. But I'm just sharing what I know or what I've learned because it's been freely given to me, so I freely give it to everyone else as well. Yeah, so I went over that. And so now let's look at Usain Bolt. So we're looking at some symbolism with how he carries himself, things that he signs that he puts up. Obviously, this is on signature sign with the with the lightning bolt falling from the sky. But I found this interesting as well. Usain Bolt, obviously his nickname is Lightning Bolt. And this is from Wiki pages or Wikipedia. His nickname is Lightning Bolt. Again, that comes from the Bible where Satan was cast down from heaven as a lightning bolt. You can find all that stuff in the Bible. But what I thought was interesting here was that when I look at Usain, when I say that word, it brings me back to Hussein. Very, very similar if you say it fast enough. Usain, Hussein, Usain, Usain, Hussein. Almost is like a J in front of it, or Hussein. Well, that name, it reminds me of Barack Obama's middle name, Barack Hussein Obama. It also reminds me of Saddam Hussein, or Sodom being not just S-A-D-A-M, but Sodom being S-O-D-O-M, Sodom and Gomorrah. I found a very interesting connection between just those names itself, being Usain, being connected to 44, as I mentioned, with the Red Devils, and then Barack Hussein Obama, then being connected to Saddam Hussein, who many of us feel was a fake terrorist in itself. But nonetheless, and then you had after Saddam Hussein, then you had Osama bin Laden, who Barack Hussein Obama was able to capture, supposedly, if you believe that story. So I just find all these connections in words and numbers, but also see here that they've added two different symbols to Usain Bolt, OJ and CD. And I was like, well, what is that? You know, what is OJ and what is CD? So first, obviously, OJ connects us to OJ Simpson, connects us to orange juice. And in case you don't know what orange is the only color that equals 33. So 33, I don't want to take too much time talking about the numbers as far as 13, 44, 33. If you don't really understand that, well, I've talked about it in my previous videos. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time just going back and trying to rehash all this stuff. But 33 is the highest degree of Freemasonry. Freemasons started our country. George Washington was a Freemason. Pretty much 90% of our presidents have been Freemasons. 90% of our presidents have been related. It's a bloodline. So if you think that Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, if you don't know who's going to be president, I can tell you who's going to be president. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. She's going to be president. Presidents aren't elected. They are selected. She falls into the code of 33. She's related to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was then related to previous presidents. Bill Clinton was part of the 322 Skull and Bones in Yale University. That's another secret society connected to the quote unquote Illuminati or the elite. All this stuff is connected. Our world is run by an elite bloodline of individuals, and you can only be born into the bloodline to run, but you can be initiated into the bloodline to be puppets or to give fame and fortune. Now, the reason why I say that is if you think about it, you say, okay, well, we know that Usain Bolt he's the greatest sprinter of all time. He makes a fortune, over $60 million, I believe is his net worth at this time. Well, if you think about it, one of the things that happened in the Bible, and again, I come back to the Bible because it's important to understand the playbook. What Satan did when Jesus came out of the 40-day fast is he tempted Jesus. He tempted him with three things. One of the things that he tempted him with, he said, well, hey, I'll give you everything in this world if you'll just worship me. Well, that's the same thing that happens with a lot of these professional athletes, anybody that's in sports and entertainment. In order for them to get to that level of fame, more often than not, they have had to worship or give up something or to be initiated into the club so they can make that type of money. But one thing that they do is they sell their soul. So it's a ritual, it's an initiation, just like it's an initiation into a fraternity, anything like that. For Usain Bolt to be at this level, not just off talent alone, there's plenty of talented people in this world. But at first he had to be connected with a name that matched their numbers. And then this is my speculation, this part where he had to actually be initiated to the point where now you see him doing the signs and symbols to let you know who he actually worships. So OJ, orange juice, orange is 33, OJ Simpson. But I looked at OJ and I said, man, what does that really mean? Here's another acronym, another thing of what it means. It says the Order of Jamaica. And And I was like, what? I've never heard that. So anybody that's from Jamaica, please feel free to let me know if you knew about this, a Jamaican honor system. Well, they have 6 orders. Isn't that interesting? They have 6 of them. Usain Bolt, where's the number 6? This is all coming back to 6. OJ, for members, or OJ, it's the 5th of the 6th. The order was established in 1969. Look at this, a whole bunch of duality, or a whole bunch of as above, so below. So when you see 69, what you see is a 9 and a 6 reversed. A 9 and a 6 is very similar to like a yin yang sign. Same thing with the Illuminati. They believe in as above, so below. They believe in duality, reflections, things like that. And it is considered to be equivalent to a knighthood in the British honor system. So it looks like Jamaica has an honor system very similar to the British honor system. I don't really know what the honor system is, other than I just thought that was interesting when they start putting numbers or symbols or letters behind people's name. But then he also has CD. CD is the order of distinction. In case you want to know what order is, because that is the thing that is prevalent. Order is 33. So it's the distinction in the order, a distinction in 33. Again, these numbers, and I'd imagine in order to move up in this honor system, you have to be part of the Jamaican, let's just say the Jamaican sector of the elite. So this is a national order in the Jamaican honor system. It is the 6th. So he's moved all the way up to the highest order in the Jamaican honor system. Very similar to if you were to move up into the highest order of Freemasonry, or highest degree, 33. He's now in the highest order of this society. Look at this. Orders of Society of Honor. So we found out that orders equals 33. Not quite sure what society equals. Would anybody like to guess what society equals? Taking your guesses right now. 33. You can't make this stuff up, guys. I try my best to make this stuff up, but you can't make it up. It is what it is. So at any rate, so I found this interesting that this I had to do some more studying on this honor system, of course, but it's 6 orders in this. It's 6 orders in this orders of societies of honor. So I thought that was interesting to point out, to let you know that all this stuff is connected. Now, I don't know about honor. I don't know about honor. How do we spell it here? No, so that doesn't equal anything. But the order and the society each equal 33. And it was a part of the parliament. So obviously Jamaica is connected to Great Britain. United States obviously is connected to Great Britain as well, in case you guys don't know. I mean, that's where we got our start from. Christopher Columbus came from Great Britain, and he stole America. And if you guys don't think that we are still in cahoots with Great Britain, you're sadly mistaken. We've been working with them forever. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share tonight. I don't see too many people asking many questions, but I thought this was interesting just as we start looking at the symbolism, the connection to Usain Bolt and quite possibly the Illuminati. Again, to start really getting into the stuff, you got to read the Bible. Lightning bolt obviously has a duality in its meaning. One being a lightning bolt that literally comes from the sky, being fast as a lightning bolt. But the lightning bolt is a representation of Satan fallen, or the fallen angel from the sky. All this stuff is here. I also found it interesting. August 21st was his birthday. August being the 8th month, 2 and 1, that's 11. 11 is a master number in numerology. And obviously it's a derivative of 33. So you move up in stages. 11 is the first degree, 22 is the second degree, 33 is the third degree in Freemasonry. So I found some of this stuff interesting. I wanted to present it to you guys tonight. I was hoping to get a little bit more feedback to see what you guys think and what you guys have noticed. Obviously, Glenn, he saw that he was in lane 6. Again, he was lane 6 for all 3 of his races. That was 3 6s or 666. And so the coding or the numbers that we see are 13, 33, 44, 666. A black man rising in fame and fortune. And I also believe this black man, in his rituals and his symbolism that he throws up, he sold his soul for fame and fortune. He's given his soul to the enemy or to the devil. or to the powers that be. Slayton is the greatest. There's a reason why they had it highlighted. And this is where Mr. Bolt is getting his powers. So anyway, guys, just wanted to bring that up. Of course, I know I'm gonna get a lot of people that hate on my channel sometimes. I'll be back in a couple hours to talk about what am I gonna talk about tonight? Are we gonna follow up on this fake riot that's happening in Milwaukee, or the staged riot that's happening in Milwaukee? Follow up on that. But yeah, continue to seek truth, guys. It's your curiosity that leads you to truth. Truth is right in front of your eyes, but you got to be looking for it to find it. And if you really want to go deeper, you got to really start studying and learning things that they're never going to teach you in public school. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for your time, and I will speak to you guys in a couple of hours. Let's see if I can get off of here. Yeah.